So it's probably difficult with the telephone because you have to sort of set up on the phone, then you put it into the gimbal, but because you're touching things, then you touch something and then suddenly what was there before is no longer there and it has gone. And so anyway, so that's why it is something sometimes a little bit awkward. Now, as always with something like this, I would encourage people to actually send their questions and what have you as and when we do this. And today I'm actually even going to see in front of me the questions rather than have it in like I had last week, and it was only on the telephone, which is rather difficult to access. So what I wanted to talk about today was something I've actually mentioned in the past when I have been doing motorhome reviews, and that is how good something is to actually live in. Because whereas talk about things such as full-time living in a van, and this van might be okay for full-time use, there are a number of things which need to be considered beforehand whether or not that is possible. Now, I've mentioned in the past that Rapido have stated to me in an email that their vehicles are not for full-time use. They are for leisure use only. And when I try to pin them down, I say, well, what does that mean? Unfortunately, I couldn't get an answer. But if we take it, for example, leisure use only, well, most people have, say, 20 days a year holiday. That's 4 weeks. So that's effectively 4 times 7 is 28. So we're now going to 28. And with 2 days at the beginning, so that's now 30. And let's say the same again in weekend. Let's say maybe you get 60 days a year use out of it. You're going to have the thing for, say, 10 years. That's probably not a lot, not very long for a motorhome life, but never mind. 600 days, 2 years. Now, if after 2 years you bought a house and 2 years later you found that your drains were blocked, you wouldn't be very pleased. And the motorhomes actually, to a certain extent, are rather similar to houses, only that a motor house, it's quite common for something to go wrong. With a motorhome, it is absolutely 100% certain that something will go wrong if you buy a new one. I use the subject of drains getting blocked rather especially because that's the problem I have now, and I want to see if anybody's got any ideas on this subject. Indeed, in many of my videos, I've talked about a domestic drain in the kitchen, and that's what I really appreciate. 2 plugs in the bathroom, the shower, I should say. The reason the domestic is to get a little net thing to stop all them bits falling down, as they will do in the kitchen anyway. And some have this little thing, you actually pull it out. It's quite clever. You pull it out and all your bits get stuck in there. And then you've got to sort of clean it outside or something. So that is the sort of thing I'm referring to. Now, in my case, in the wet room, it is domestic. Unfortunately, there's only one hole in the shower. I mean, I didn't build it. I got it the way it was, and that wasn't the sort of thing I could actually show us. Some of the things that built under my direction, such as the rather unique roof on this, which hasn't been covered. It was covered once, but then unfortunately it didn't hold what we put on top of it. But in the shower, I didn't. I just kept the same shower tray in there. I've got this blocked. Now, what is the solution? Well, one solution you can do, the first solution you do when you get drains get blocked, stick boiling water down, and that might clear it. That might or it might not. That's number one. Number two, when that doesn't work, you can go into the methodology, which is sort of the green methodology. Well, get some baking powder, mix it with vinegar, and on 2-to-1 basis, seems to me to be the best, and then stick it down the drains. Does that clear it? Well, it mightn't. If it does, that's the problem solved. but periodically stick boiling water down, which is in fact what I was doing anyway. Now that doesn't clean it, so now I've used commercial drain cleaners, and it's still blocked. So now this happened to me when we had the really cold weather. So I thought, oh well, it's got some ice on it somewhere down there I can't see. Everything I left open, and parked here so that the water would fall out on one side and then go into the drain. Very conveniently parked there. So, but in the winter, incidentally, you should always leave your drains, I think, open to stop any. Well, I mean, the water will freeze anyway, but I mean, it might just drain off the excess and all the rest of it and keep it a bit warmer inside. So now I don't know what I'm going to have to do. Well, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get it up on a lift thing. What do you call that? I think it lifts it up. Whatever they're called. I've forgotten. I remember in Polish, can't remember in English. And then I'm just going to unscrew the tank, and then I'm going to have to stick something up it. So Mark says, put your hose down the drain outside, pack it with an old bed sheet, and turn on. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I tried actually putting the hosing it, but that didn't work. I heated the water up in the max. So boiling water first, then I had that 65 degrees. What I had it, then I tried that, and that didn't work. Anyway, now the point of this story is if you bought a house and it went that way after a couple of years, you would be pretty furious. But if the motorhome says it's for leisure use only, and you decide you're going to live in it, and then you got your drains have all blocked, well, I mean, they can say, well, sorry, you were using it for a purpose for which it wasn't intended. Therefore, we are not going to cover your guarantee. I've never actually heard that being used as an excuse, but I suspect that it might be in some cases. And so if you're using it for a purpose for which it was not intended, such as living in it, using it for going on holidays or whatever, then you may be breaking the terms of the agreement, which you had when you bought it. So that's that one. And now I've mentioned when companies have guarantees. For example, when I'm doing motorhome reviews, I've often said 10-year water ingress guarantee, and this 10-year water ingress guarantee, that's great, but will it be respected if you take it outside, for example? That I don't know. It depends on the terms and conditions. And there's a number of things within this, of course, because when you say things it's built for leisure use only, that suggests that it's not going to take hard knocks and the sort of thing you give at home. For example, I mean, you sit on your chairs at home every day in front of the television, and you watch the television. Then if you sit in your motorhome and the chairs break after a couple of years of constant use, well, who knows? I could just say that, hey, it's not meant for that type of use. So this is something actually I do find quite bothering. There are some companies that are actually pursuing the idea in their marketing of long-term use, one of which is Niesman Bischoff. Now their vans start at around 120,000 or something. I think the cheapest small is by the time you've actually added the extras such as the wheels and the engine. And so the that is I think anyway. Now, Deb, right? Sorry, a full-time warranty issue is occasionally an issue with US manufacturers. Yes, and I can really understand that being an issue, knowing a tiny little bit about law and how people try to get around it, and because these are issues for the manufacturers. Now, within vans, there's things that go wrong all the time. I mean, okay, Mark here's just written, one needs a sprung mattress and some cushions, and Ellen's just got a dozen Stella beers, so she'll be staying at home by herself and drinking that. And yeah, so the mattresses in most vans are normally just foam. I mean, by the time you get sort of a Frovey system or something, you're looking at 80,000 euro van plus. And if you want sprung, well, I don't know, it's going to that really is going to be quite expensive. Another problem I've got is that my pump has gone. Well, okay, I mean the pump was installed in this van when I bought it 2014. The previous one didn't work. In fact, very little worked when I bought it. That's why I bought it so cheaply. But I mean, that's the sort of thing that can go wrong. And when people buy vans and something goes wrong, they've got to expect it. It is going to happen. It's an absolute and utter certainty. And so this is something about living in it. I mean, it's things like that. I mean, catches break. When I do the shows, and then something's broken, and sometimes I make jokes about it, but things not working, which is a bit really unfair. The use or the abuse which they get at trade fairs, and people trying breaking things and all the rest of it. There's a friend of mine who's a smaller manufacturer, and he said a woman went into the toilet and she didn't know how to open the door, and she used so much force that she broke the toilet, knocked the lock out. And but another one on I was told I was on the Dreamer stand that somebody doing the Dreamer Rapido's got this central locking where you turn it once and everything just locks, unlike here in my van where you've got to sort of lock everything individually. So the person pulled it without turning the thing, broke it. I mean, anything will break with the use of force, and these are all problems with this. Another thing which often happens is with the blinds. I mean, the blinds just give up the ghost and stop moving up and down. And anyway, so that's that. So Mark writes, it does things automatically to prepare it for winter. Yes. So this is another thing. Yesterday I posted a video about van life in Norway, and the van that was shown there, the Hobby Optima, which is not a winterized van, it needs to be pointed out. But according to, obviously, the people who did the test were Hobby, so if it failed, maybe they wouldn't have told us, but it didn't fail, so they did tell us. And I can say with my van this winter, admittedly, it was minus 22 here, and maybe I don't know, Norway, maybe, I don't know if it was even whatever, but anyway, this van did survive the minus 22. So I mean, the battery was flat in the engine, the engine battery, sorry. But it got through it. We also need to sort of also separate the parts which belong to the manufacturer. So if you're Fiat or Mercedes or Renault or whoever, and the bits which belong to the habitation area, which is the responsibility of the manufacturer. Now, many of the companies who manufacture the stuff that goes inside, like people manufacture the pump, for example. Biggest producer is forgotten the name of the house in the located just outside Stuttgart, but never mind. They have a name, Aqua, something, I can't, whatever. Or you get other things like Thetford or Dometic or the other parts. I mean, these companies are very responsible. If you ask them, so what's up, hey, cooker's broken, and they'll tell you how to fix it. So good, right. So hello to Peter and to Transylvania. That's in Romania. Dracula used to live there, and to Mark and to Ellen, to others. Get some kitty litter for the toilet. That's a good idea. One thing I would stress is that I was on the management board of a hotel company, developer, and one of the problems with hotels is that you can't have too many people using its use to aim to approximately 50% usage. That's like 170 days in the year, 175 days in the year, something like that. So you get approximately 50%, and that's seen to be sort of the ideal amount, because if you get too many people sort of using the chairs and using the beds and turning the television on, then things start breaking. So that's sort of seen as the ideal sort of thing. But with a motorhome, obviously, it's more intense. Another thing got to bear in mind as well with the motorhome is, if you've got something like I've got here, hello to South Africa, is that you've got sort of, say 7 by 2, 14 square meters. When, let's say, you've got a house which is 5 times bigger, the usage is going to be much stronger within that. So I mean, that's going to sort of wear out whatever it is 5 times quicker. I always sit in this seat, so this seat is the one that's going to be wearing out. The same way as, many people, the driver's seat is the one that wears out in cars. For example, I wanted to change my seat, the passenger seat, for example, because my seat was sort of worn out because it was a used car, and a couple of 100,000 kilometers on the clock. And Deb sort of writes something here regarding avoiding blocked P traps. We replaced ours with HEB VO traps under our sink, replacing the one under the shower. It's not possible unless at some time the entire thing has to be dismantled. And yeah, unfortunately I didn't understand that, because I don't know what a HEB VO trap is. A P trap, I don't know what a P trap is either, actually. Anyway, somebody will tell me, I'm sure I'll find out. And Chris says, happy Easter, how to find 4-season RV as cabbie, but less expensive. Yeah, right. This is a very good question. So if you're going to get something which is meant to be tough and hard and all the rest of it, what type of a vehicle do you buy? And the answer is, I don't know. Something as cheap as cheaper than a cabbie. Well, a cabbie is pretty expensive. I mean, even the Mercedes camper van is over 100,000 euros, and I think the motorhomes start at something 160 or something ridiculous. That's starting price here. I mean, by the time you get all the additions on, it's gonna cost it's gonna cost a lot more. So I mean, what would I suggest? I don't know. I mean, I'm a bit stuck on that one, because I'm trying to tell you something that's going to be hard wearing. It's not going to break, and you're going to have all these problems, and doors, these these false walls in bathrooms. I mean, they look quite good, but I think, other than me wanting to shave myself and see what I'm doing, but these false, they break. You can't honestly expect something like that to last much more than about 18 months if you're living in the van. The place where you pull the toilet cassette out, okay, well, maybe that you're not maybe pulling the toilet cassette out every day, but I mean, they break as well. I mean, all sorts of things break. Anyway, if anybody's got any suggestions on that, do write them down, because that's always interesting. And also to share that. I mean, in particularly what I said about the false wall, remember that they always break. And right, so Zan asked me, when am I going to the next dealership? When am I going to the dealership the next time? Don't know. There's a situation that we have got at present. There's a disease doing the rounds, and we are under the lockdown terms here were actually made more stringent the week before last, and I actually I do abide by what the law says, and or even suggestions. So I won't be going anywhere until that changes. I hope that I will be in Germany in July and August. I will be in Germany in August, certainly. I might be in Italy in September. That is the current plan, but actually going to any dealerships, I don't think I'll be going to any. I certainly won't be going to any until July. So that's it, really. It's just the situation at the moment with COVID is quite bad. But in any case, in the summer, I tend to do my real tourism, other than living in a van all the time and permanently being on holiday. I shall be, so that's what I'll be doing there. Okay. Oh, I've got now. We've got a explanation. A P-trap is what is under the drains that get blocked. It's the loop in the pipe that traps water. Ah, that's called a gooseneck in British English. Right. Good. And now I didn't realize. I thought it might be called a U-neck or something, like U-trap or something. Right. I'll have a go at that. And the Heb VO is horizontal and so doesn't collect the stuff that usually collects and blocks drains in P traps. Okay, right. Well, I'll have to take that. Peter asks if I'm taking the vaccine. Of course, I'll take the vaccine. I'll take it as soon as I can get it. And my British vaccine sort of turned up. Well, it didn't turn up. A letter came from the it's saying that I need to ring this number and to get my jab. I am in the 9th category within the those that what do you call it, the priority. Having said that, 30 million people in the UK were in priority groups. So there was 10 priority groups, and I was in group number 9. And so it's got that far, and I shall be taking it. And I really do. I want to take it. In fact, I rang up a friend of mine who works in the hospital, and she said, "Here, ring up this number, see if you can get it done locally." So I want to see if I can get it done locally if I can. I'm not going to go and travel the United Kingdom just to get an injection, and then wait who knows how long, how many months for the second one. So anyway, Deb suggests a very good idea here. Google it on YouTube to see how it works. Right, yeah. I fear that I had this vague hope with my own drains being blocked that if I drove out, the roads here aren't that good, sort of bumping along, whatever it is, it might just break free, and it didn't though. Having said that, there was a little. I could see drips as I drove along. I hope it was water, not something out the engine. I've got a leak from the point. What do you call that in English? The fluid, the cooling fluid, and so that I've made an appointment to see the garage to get that fixed. But after winter, you expect things like this, a bit of rust and the joints and the O-rings that hold it on, not the O-rings, whatever they're called, them things you sort of tighten up, and anyway, whatever, I've forgotten the name, and they get rusty and they break, or they might get loose or something. So these things are to be expected. So I'm going to resolve that as soon as I sort of move. Anyway, Mark says he had an Astra, and I had an Astra 1 week ago. Still here though. Oh, Astro's a car. In fact, I saw somebody getting one yesterday. The Astra, Vauxhall Astra, or the I don't know if it was in Germany what it was called, but this Astra, I used to get them from the car rental company. I always had a bad back after driving them. I don't know what it was. I could scarcely stand up. Anyway, I couldn't. I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore. So, right. Anyway, so I think that's more or less what I wanted to say today. And anyway, Mark mentions the thumbs downer who must do nights. I noticed that there is this character comes in thumbs down immediately. And maybe he's not used to the fact I'm doing this now on a Saturday. I've been doing it now for about 6-7 weeks, something like that. And anyway, wasn't in yesterday either. I noticed. I do now know who this character is, and so he gave himself away. And this is somebody who's been trolling me now for more than 10 years. More than 10 years. In fact, I did a video in November. I think I did it on the 4th of November 2011, and I mentioned him, and he's still trolling, and that was referring to past events. Then he's still trolling me, this character. Anyway, he's in the Netherlands, so that's I don't go there very often. So I should be okay. Oh, sorry, AstraZeneca. Sorry, I thought you meant the car, the Astra. AstraZeneca. The yes. AstraZeneca is a British Swedish company, And yeah. So Michael says that trollers are such sad characters. Yeah, it is rather, because I mean, you must have so much hate to me, towards me. I mean, just imagine the amount of hate. You keep coming back every single day. You can't automize it. So give him a thumbs down when he comes on at 9:15 every night. Right? He must come onto it. He does it deliberately. I mean, what a waste of your life. Anyway, well, let's hope. It's just as well not in the United States. He might have got a gun or something. Anyway, that's it. So, anyway, so Annie got the Johnson Johnson. They do shampoo, don't they? I don't think that protects, maybe it does. Who knows? And can't I block the troll? No, why? I don't think block. The thing is, I can't really block him because he keeps changing his what do you call it? His identity. So the last one I saw, because I saw about 4 weeks ago, it was something I'd never seen before. I have actually at least known identities. I block him from making comments. He is blocked from that. And so, but I can't actually block somebody from giving a thumbs down, as far as I believe. It could, of course, be that I may have got the wrong person, but I'm pretty certain it's him. So good. Yeah, he is a bit jealous. He hasn't started actually in my other YouTube sites. He hasn't started giving them thumbs down. And so I've got a history site which I'm sort of now uploading about 3 videos a week to. So he hasn't done anything on that one. At least one video a week. There's a video a week every Friday at 8 o'clock my time, Central European time. There is something on my history channel, and some other days, because I started doing these shorts things. When you sort of turn the phone there like this and do a video. It's got to be under 1 minute. And YouTube thought they were all the rage and all the rest of it, but to be quite honest, it hasn't really done much for me. I mean, the first one I did, I actually got 11,000 views. On the second one I got 9,000, but since then it really hasn't done much. So I mean, once I get through the ones I've done, I'm not going to do any more either for this channel, but my history channel I did almost 60 or 70 of them, and they'll be published in fact over the next 2 years, because most of them coincide with anniversaries. 3rd of April, for example, today. So I put something up that happened 4th of April in history. So anyway, so Bobby got the Pfizer, and Peter says he is a camper dude. No, actually he's not. This is the thing. And he's not a camper at all. He's not interested in camping in the slightest. And actually the strange thing is he's in some ways quite similar to me in some things, except that I'm not I wouldn't troll somebody, probably anyway. And he probably comes out only after sunset. Could well be, although actually, as my videos are actually shown when it's still light, from June to say the beginning of August, something like that, maybe the beginning of August, then I think he does that. It isn't that. Great. Thanks very much. Please, there will be this evening. I have a video from a Bosner motorhome with a rather unusual wet room at the back. For a Boston, that's unusual. I mean, there's lots of companies within the Trigano group that do this, but in the Heimer group, you don't actually find many venues. That is a Heimer group, that is, because Boston belongs to Heimer. So they've got that's this evening at the usual time. Tomorrow I've got, on Sundays I do a short video, the ones which are this way around, so that's a 1-minute video. I can't remember what it is tomorrow. On Monday Tosha does a video, and on Tuesday there's a shorts video. So I'm doing the videos from Wednesday to Saturday, if you like. There's the shorts on the Sunday and the Tuesday until I run out of them, and then I'm not going to do any more. And Tosha does it on Monday until she sort of gives up. Obviously, for a dog to do the motorhome videos, it's not always that easy. I mean, if you were a dog to actually do it, so you can understand the problem. So she might actually give up one day doing it, as she said, until she can't be bothered to do it any longer. So thank you very much for being here. It's been a very nice doing it. It's a lovely sunny. I'll show you outside, because my original plan was I'll do this outside, but then it was pouring with rain. Last week it was pouring with rain, and it stopped just before I started doing it. Today there was this gale, and I thought, how are you going to even hear me in the van? Then it just stopped, and it's lovely and sunny. So thanks very much. Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Annie. Thanks, Bobby. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, everybody. Ellen, who was here. And sorry if I've forgotten anybody. I remember there's a couple of somebody from South Africa. I've forgotten the name now. But thanks to everybody. And usual time tonight. All the best from me in Ozorków, Poland. Bye. Oh, no, it's here, isn't it? That's where it is. I was going to turn it off on my computer. Please give Tosha's head a pet. Thanks, Deb. Bye.